Mamdani said that I thought was really extraordinary. He would be the first immigrant mayor of the preeminent immigrant capital in the United States, a city that is a sanctuary city where people are still being accosted at their immigration hearings. Is there evidence that Mamdani would return New York City to the 1970s hellhole Times Square? What is your evidence?
It's very simple. So he wants to raise taxes on people who make the most money. What eventually is going to happen is you're going to lose that tax base. Once you lose that tax base, our bonds will get degraded. Now the city budget will not be substantial enough to subsidize not only the cops, but the fire department, the sanitation department. Once you start losing Wall Street and people who pay $11,000, $12,000 a month to live on the Upper East Side, you're done.
Let me ask
and you go back to the 70s when Gerald Ford said to New York, drop dead.
Okay, but hold on, Arthur.
Crisis.
But Arthur, you raised the taxes on wealthy people in this city, maybe a couple percent, right?
They're already
53%. And that's exactly my point. They're already paying some of the high. I know, Arthur, but Arthur, they are already paying right at this moment some of the highest taxes in the country. And you think that 1 or 2% is going to cause a mass exodus out of New York?
Anna just said it's correct. It already has started.
I just want to be clear that that's what you're saying, because I think that seems pretty extraordinary.
Because he's also not going to focus on crime. Right now you have Police Commissioner Tisch and John Chell, the chief of the department. Crime in the city of New York right now is set to break all records as the lowest ever in recorded history for shootings and murders. Once that starts going up in the other direction, and the tax base is gone, and sanitation is gone, and schools are gone.
Why would crime go up?
What could possibly go wrong, right? This guy wants universal rent control and more government spending in the most heavily taxed city in America, New York City. People there already pay an extra 3.8% just to live in the city. Now Wall Street is panicking because they know what could happen if things go badly: money leaving the city, real estate prices crashing, and a shrinking tax base. That means less money for essential services like police, fire departments, and sanitation. And no matter what liberals say, that's a disaster waiting to happen. This is what happens when people like Joy Reid support extreme ideas without thinking about the real-life consequences. Here she is again, now on The Breakfast Club, suggesting that giving Iran nuclear weapons might actually bring peace to the Middle East.
You know how they say the most polite society in the country is Texas? Because everybody's packing.
Everybody got guns. That's right.
You know, maybe the Middle East would be calmer if there weren't just, what I spoke yesterday to a Navy veteran who used to fly those bombers that they used to drop the bunker, but the 30,000-pound bombs. Mm-hmm. And he was telling me, he said, don't get it twisted. This war is not about a real threat that Iran posed to anyone. They don't have nukes, and they didn't have nukes, and they weren't making nukes. This is about a geopolitical push, the same way it was when we went after Mossadegh. To make it, we would rather an Iran with a dictator who's a puppet than a free Iran who could defy us and take the oil we feel entitled to. In this case, Israel wants to be the hegemon of the region. They want to be the United States, the big boy in the bloc, and have no competitors. And their biggest two potential competitors are Saudi Arabia and Iran. And so the idea here is to make them the unquestioned superpower in the region. That's what this is about. It is not about Iran imminently having nukes.
What is the reality of the Joy Reid show on MSNBC? Like, why did it come to an end? You heard so many different rumors. They were saying the ratings were low. Mm-hmm. Trump didn't want her there anymore.
Right. He probably didn't.
like what was it?
I had gotten nothing. Then I get a text message early the next morning saying, "Can you talk at noon?" And I was fired immediately. There was no warning. So and I asked, well, what's the nothing? They were just like, oh, we just want to make some changes. They never said why. So I've had to live in the rumor mill with everybody else.
You have to laugh at how Joy Reid is acting like giving a flamethrower to an arsonist and calling it fire prevention is some kind of smart plan. Iran's nuclear program isn't just talk. They've already enriched uranium up to 60%, and they're working to hide what they're doing. What Reid is saying isn't just wrong, it's dangerous. It's the same tired routine we always see from her and other mainstream media figures: defend terrorists, blame the US, rewrite history, and pretend to care about people they actually want to control. But what do you think? Should people like Joy Reid really be taken seriously after promoting this kind of harmful nonsense? Let me know in the comments. And if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, it really helps us out. Thanks for watching, this has been News.